Hello, fellow warriors against consensus reality, lovers of truth, wisdom, knowledge, real knowledge, the pursuit of the esoteric path, and wielders of the blade, sarcasm and irreverence, and slayers of brain-dead normie gobshites everywhere. They really do exist for our amusement. It's the only way you can look at it. Otherwise, you drive yourself absolutely mental. Yes, I would very much like to talk like Billy Connolly all the time. I can do the voice when I'm riled up a bit, as they say. I even had the two Scotsmen at my old workplace give me the Scottish stamp of approval of my Scottish accent. Although talking to a lot of Irish people, I can sort of do that slowly. It's quite a change from the rolling your R's, especially when you're doing the Glasgow voice, to doing the Irish, where it's more lilted and the R's are sort of more swallowed, if you will. But there we have it. Yeah, once again, for the new people, thank you very much. I never thought this little channel of mine would reach 105 subs, especially with the fuckery of YouTube and the Orwellian Gestapo. No, you can't have a different opinion. That hurts their little feelings, and then they need their safe space. Well, I'm sorry, but if you're that sensitive, you have no business being a human being. It's a couple of things on my mind today. I will try to put a video out every day or every other day. It's a nice, quiet, overcast morning, just the way I like it. No gobshites around. Fantastic. A man can actually hear himself think. Oh, did I say that revolutionary, dangerous word, think? No, we can't have that. You're supposed to just plug into the mainstream media at all times and mindlessly believe everything you're fucking told, right? No, that's not how the game works. And yes, it is a game. I mean, the one thing that I've noticed is with this scamdemic, because it is a scamdemic. Anyone who's done any kind of level of research realises what it is. It's got nothing to do with a virus at all. Nothing to do with a virus at all. They don't care about... Do I have to say it again? They don't care about your health. They don't care about women. They don't care about men. Well, that's blatantly obvious these days. They don't care about your children. They don't care about making you better. They, quote unquote, they have so much contempt for all humanity, or as they consider us, mindless plebs, mindless resource-eating plebs, that given half a chance and with a little bit of research and digging, you can actually see the depth and the level of their psychopathy and sociopathy. They are the worst kind of sociopaths in the world, because they are totally devoid of any kind of empathy or compassion or anything for humanity whatsoever. Which is kind of sad, because after all those thousands of years of culture and learning and development, we've come to this now. Really? So unfortunately, yes, we have. Because for too long, all people, everyday working, whatever people, have been too complacent, too lazy, too fat and satisfied with their little lives. we have become extremely complacent and lazy as a species. It's incredible. And especially living in a country like Australia for most of my life. Yes, it wasn't my choice to come here. That's one thing that Australians have said to me over the years. Oh, if you don't like it here, move. I'm thinking, well, first of all, it wasn't my choice to come here, and second of all, yes, I'm working on it. That usually stops them dead because they think that Australia is the best country in the world. A country totally devoid of any kind of soul or real culture. When the new church in my dad's village is older than European settlement in this country, we got a wee bit of a problem. Yeah, that was it. The new church was built in the 1740s, by the way. A land where the entrance to the real River Styx resides. How cool is that, right? And it goes all the way under into Mount Olympus, which is fucking awesome. But the problem with today, other than the obvious bullshit going on, is first of all, they are no longer hiding what they're doing. They think that things have come too far, there's no going back, there's no changing it, there's no fighting spirit in humanity, and they're right, for the most part. Although there are some people rising up and having protests and things, but there's really nothing protests can actually do. But at least there are people who are showing that they resist. But unfortunately, not enough of us. Nowhere near enough of us. Most people are saying, oh, do the right thing, take your jab, shut up, do what you're told, follow the rules, and everything will go back to normal. There is no normal. They don't want normal. 17 years of car park fumes, resulting in a congested chest. Thank you. But, see, that's what people were duped with. Well, if you take both jabs, then everything will go back to normal. Well, I need to find out that being double jabbed means you're no longer considered jabbed, right? Until you take booster number 3, 4, 5 ad infinitum. You're getting it now? And here in this convict settlement, I still consider it a convict settlement. I mean, fuck. 1788 is when the first fleet came. Really? That recent? They've made it down to, they've brought it the time frame from your second jab to your first booster down to 3 months. It used to be 6, right? It's not about health. And the funny thing is, on the 15th of December, when they decided to give the scourge on society, the most evil group of people in the history of the world, i.e. us purebloods, right, who didn't fall for it, they let us have freedoms because they realised, oh crap, it's the fully jabbed that are actually creating all these new clusters of cases in hospitality venues where we purebloods were not allowed to go. So to cover their asses, what did they do? Oh, yeah. You unvaxxed can go to the pub now. Well, I'm sorry, but that's kind of like trying to close the gate long after the horse has bolted. That little mistake there did help people to realise, hey, hang on, something's not right here. That and the fact that they still have very little freedoms even after they're double jabbed and mindless of following the rules. But anyway. See, in today's world, in the world we're living in, with everything going on, with everything that a lot of the MGTOW guys have looked into, the history of feminism and all that, and what is MGTOW, and all what men go through in divorce court, and all those things. Looking at the broader perspective, that, quote unquote, they knew what the result of bringing in these things. They knew what people would do. I mean, with such terrible conditions in front of, before a man contemplating marriage and by extension divorce, men get treated like absolute shite in divorce court today, and that's just accepted as the normal thing. So even, for example, if I won't cover any of this because it's been done to death, but I will use one little example. Okay, you got married, she fucked someone else, you had a child, the child is not actually biologically yours, and yet you're the one, if you happen to divorce, you're the one stuck paying child support for someone else's child, right? And of course, quote unquote, they knew what men would do as a result. No man would step up to accept that. Of course not. No man with any kind of brain, certainly. I don't include simps because they're really not fully functioning people. All right. And of course, the result is an increasing number of men going their own way. And quote unquote, they, the powers that be, knew exactly what would happen. Of course, that's a natural result. There's only one choice. If you don't want to be financially fucked for the rest of your life, right? And even before then, for the last 50 years in the Western world, especially the Anglo world, because in a lot of places around the world, feminism doesn't exist. But, I mean, geez, you would have to live in a remote village in the middle of, I don't give a fuckistan, right? Or Central Asia, or an African mud hut somewhere to find it. But even with feminism, I mean, they attacked and destroyed the traditional feminine. And modern women just mindlessly took it on and accepted it as, you go girl, fuck, I hate that. Especially when it's American women talking. Fuck. Or they see it as strong and empowered, right? So they need all aspects of media and education and the government and all levels of commercial, retail, corporate enterprise to constantly repeat the same propaganda line. Women are strong and empowered. Unless they're in a train attacked by a quote-unquote minority, and if there are two pale-skinned straight men nearby who didn't immediately simp to her defense and put their lives on the line for her safety, they're the ones who are actually attacked. But hang on a minute. She's strong and empowered. She's equal to a man in every single way. That means you defend yourself. You see how that works, ladies? You can't cherry pick. Oh, you want chivalry, you want the good bits, but oh, no, we don't want accountability and responsibility. No. We're princesses. We want men to look after us. Well, I'm sorry, but you can go boil your head. And so, with this attack on important aspects of humanity. I mean, the family, the traditional families have been attacked for a long, long time, to the point where, well, look at the divorce rate in any typical Western country, right? Or the people that get married not because they found the love of their life, etc., 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 but because they're so deathly afraid of being alone. Well, you know what? Right now, I'm living alone, totally alone, and I fucking love it. I actually dread the moment when my brother actually moves in. But anyway, that's a different story. So, with those things in mind, with a purposely rigged and skewed game, what are our options? Those of us who actually realise quite a while ago that, hey, things are not quite right, there's something not right here, and through your own investigation, through your own searching, you've realised, oh fuck, and you've realised the depth of the depravity and the evil games that these psychotic cunts are playing. Well, the only thing you can really do is control your own life. Switch off the news. I've done that and have felt a lot better for a couple of decades now. Since the late 80s, really. And you can find, I mean, the result, of course, for me, I mean, people like myself, we tend to disconnect. It makes us all disconnect more and more from mainstream society and become lone wolf and hermit. And of course, that's the only thing we can do, because we're now surrounded by not friendly, helpful, compassionate people, but mean-spirited, cold-hearted, snitching gobshites. All right? I heard from someone the other day. They're living in an apartment block. 2 people complained to the landlord because this person was using incense. Incense, right? With open windows and everything. Oh, it was terrible. Oh, you can smell it in the hall. That's the kind of world we're living in now. And the natural response is to disconnect from mainstream society. Get out of the big cities. Go out into a rural setting. Which is why, what have I mentioned is my ideal? Rural Ireland and or rural Bavaria, Germany. Big cities now? No, definitely not. People need to get out of the big cities. It's unsafe now. They want to turn them into little prisons called smart cities where they can see everything you do, and they're even having a good wank over the idea of seeing what our thoughts are. Smart devices, right? There's nothing smart about it. I call them Orwellian devices. So yeah, the moment you embrace that idea wholeheartedly is a level. Is a time where you find a level of freedom, because you realise, hang on, I cannot. I'm the master of my own destiny. I'm in charge of my own thoughts and feelings. Those gobshites can go boil their head. And when you start to get into that kind of mindset is when you start to find freedom within. And those of us who face the challenge of depression every day, I'm starting to realise for myself that it's actually a part of myself screaming in protest at living in such an uncouth, totalitarian, fucked up environment where we don't belong. To the depth of your being, you realise you don't belong here. And that's okay. The moment you realise that's okay is when you start to find freedom. I think I'll leave it there today. If you're still with me, you're fucking legends. Thank you, Hammerhand, once again for helping my sub count. You're a fucking legend. And be well, be wise. Conduct and speak with truth and honour. Those things are more needed now and rare than ever before. And yes, as always, to speak the truth is a lonely path. The irreverent, sarcastic lone wolf on guitar, out.